Acura, and their plans for 2024, say that they'll release a small SUV alongside the Integra. This is obviously a good business decision as SUVs sell, and this is something that they should have done a while ago. Obviously, Civic is to Integra as the HRV is to the ADX or CDX. So if you don't know, the ADX was a patent filing or name filing that's been here for a while now, and many thought that it was going to be an electric SUV, but that has turned out to be the ZDX. The CDX is a small entry-level SUV that's been in Acura's lineup in other markets such as China, and that's the nameplate that this new vehicle could likely take up as well. Honda will likely take the HRV, give it some Acura design language such as the diamond pentagon grille and chicane LED headlights. They'll likely have an A-spec trim that makes it just a little more sporty. Dimensionally, I expect the SUV to be similar to the HRV plus or minus a couple inches. The HRV is 179.8 inches and 172 inches, and this compares pretty favorably to other entry-level luxury SUVs on the market, and the HRV is bigger than most of its competitors. I think it'll have a similar story for the passenger space and the storage. And if the ADX has a similar cargo capacity to the HRV, it'll rank towards the top of its competitors. And we also saw this with the Civic and the Integra. The Integra was based off the Civic sedan, and they have pretty similar dimensions. As for engine choices, I expect Honda's 1.5-liter turbo, making about 200 horsepower from the Integra. This will be the biggest differentiator between the two SUVs because Honda didn't bother to give the HRV the 1.5-liter turbo. Probably they saw this in the future and they did this to separate the two vehicles. We see through comparisons that, like the Integra, this new Acura SUV will likely have one of the lowest horsepower figures in its competitive set, only second to the Lexus UX, which is a hybrid. The Acura is the only vehicle in its competitive set to likely carry a CVT. The 1.5 hasn't been compared with any other transmission except for the 8-speed DCT, but that has been discontinued, and if they were going to recontinue it, the Integra would have been the perfect vehicle to put that in. The reduction in power will likely result in better fuel economy. I predict the ADX will have around 30 mpg combined based on the CRV's 1.5-liter turbo. This could be better. This will likely deliver better fuel economy than a lot of its competitors, but still worse than something like the BMW X1, which offers plenty of more power and significantly worse than something like the UX, which offers a similar amount of horsepower. This is probably where you're wondering, what about the hybrid options that Honda makes, which is the 2-motor hybrid electric system paired to a 2-liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder that makes 181 horsepower, 232 pound-feet of torque. We see this in the Civic Hybrid, or the same setup makes 204 horsepower in the Accord or CRV Hybrid. I would not expect this setup because Acura themselves had said they are skipping hybrids and going straight into the battery electric vehicle multiple times throughout the years. Although theoretically adding a hybrid powertrain setup would be easy to do because both Acura and Hondas are made in the same Ohio plant, or the fact that they're using the same platform as the CRV or in the Civic, which both support hybrid systems, or even the fact that the hybrid likely would be a key differentiator compared to a lot of its competitors other than the UX. Instead, they'll probably just stick with the 1.5-liter turbo and link that up with the CVT. I do expect all-wheel drive to be available, probably Super Handling all-wheel drive or Honda's all-wheel drive system, and they'll just rebrand that as Super Handling all-wheel drive. And that's going to be a nice differentiator over the Integra to give people a reason to upgrade. There'll probably be an adaptive damper system in the top trims. Interior-wise, I expect the same design language as the Honda HR-V and the Civic because they already did this for the Integra and more recently the ZDX and the Prologue, although those are two completely separate vehicles. I expect them to cover the honeycomb vents with some plastic trim and maybe change the pattern of the honeycomb itself. I expect some minor changes to the passenger side dash, but nothing significant. Otherwise, I expect most of the same from the HR-V, meaning a similar gear shifter infotainment screen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, probably about 9 inches. Maybe it might have Google Play built in, center console, window switches, and also the steering wheel itself. I expect that they will all be standard with a 10-inch digital gauge cluster straight from the Integra and Civic Touring, which wasn't even an option on the HR-V. maybe it will have some of those nicer quality of life updates that has been received in the Honda Accord. I expect it to mirror the Integra in terms of features, and I'd be surprised if they put more features than the Integra in it. So probably like a basic moonroof, sunroof, rain sensing wipers, 12-way driver seats with memory, heated seats, basic one-color ambient lighting system, 5-inch heads-up display, and of course you'll have your leatherette with micro suede seats, and a new Bang & Olufsen sound system. It'll probably be around 15 to 16 speakers, similar to that of the Integra, which differentiates this vehicle further from the HR-V because it doesn't even offer the Bose in the Honda lineup. Based on the Integra, I wouldn't expect some niceties such as a panoramic moonroof, power folding mirrors, 360 camera, HomeLink, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, and heated rear seats, unless you live in Canada. Acura sensing will be standard, which is pretty big compared to the Germans, and that's something you have to pay extra even in the Cadillac. Because of how similar this will be to the HR-V, I do expect it to start around 32 to 34 grand, which undercuts a lot of things, and it will probably top out around 41 to 42 grand, which is less than everything except the Mazda CX-30. So in all, I think it'll be pretty average. Like, if you look on the spec sheets, it's shaping up to be pretty average vehicle. Maybe even slightly overpriced if you want to compare to mainstream options such as the top-of-the-line CR-V or the CX-5, or maybe even something like a Toyota Venza. It probably won't be as nice as some of the luxury branded competitors, but nice enough for people who don't want to drive a German vehicle or want to drive anything mainstream. It'll be practical, easy to live with in terms of passenger space and fuel economy, but nothing really that special. But that's what people want to buy, and I do think that these will sell in droves. So tell me what you think right in the comment section, which is right below that like button. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.